Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His Word. And family, I want to welcome you. Welcome to another Friday night Sabbath. I cannot tell you seriously how much I really enjoy spending my Friday evenings with you. Thank you so much. And once again, y'all already know, you know what's coming. Y'all already know what's coming. My favorite time of the week, I get to address you, the royal family, by saying this. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And once again, thank you for bringing this in with your brother this week. And let me tell you, tonight, family, tonight is going to be a topic. It is going to be a topic tonight, but let me tell you something right now. Let me just go ahead and put this disclaimer on the table. I am not apologetic about anything that I say tonight. What I say tonight comes directly right here from my heart. Comes from the heart. And the subject matter is going to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be very angering, as it should be. As it very well should be. Why? Because as the scriptures say, oppression makes a wise man mad. And we are an oppressed people. So being that we are an oppressed people, we have to find out how we need to come out of our oppression. So what we're going to do, first of all, family, please open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. And we are going to get down tonight. Because we, of course, for the past couple of weeks here, I would say for the past month now, we have been going hard on keeping the commandments, right? And we've talked about a lot of the curses. Now, one thing that we really have not focused on, what happened or what would have happened if we would have kept the commandments. So what we're going to do right now, we are going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to start at verse 1. And we are going to see the conditions if we indeed did keep the commandments. So let's go ahead and go there real fast. Let's make it happen, family. And again, I'm telling you right now, for the things I say tonight, I am not apologetic about. I'm telling you because I'm saying what I'm saying. And you'll see why. You will definitely see why. All right, so Deuteronomy chapter 28, let's start at verse 1. So this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel as they came out of Egypt. All right, so this is out of the Exodus. Now watch this, family. Every Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you need to open your ears and hear everything that I have to say. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, unto the voice of the Lord your God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Stop. What does that mean, family? It means the Most High told his Israelites, his chosen people, if they kept his commandments, he was going to take his chosen people and put them above every nation on the planet. That's one verse in. Just one. Let's continue. Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So he said all of these blessings are going to come upon you. The blessings are going to overtake you. You are not going to be able to deal with all the blessings. Can you imagine that life? Can you imagine if we had that? But watch, look at what these blessings are. Verse 3. Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. So there would not be any police shootings. There would be no ghettos. There'll be none of that. We'll be blessed in the city and also in the field. So that means that our work will be blessed. Our occupations, Our vocations, the things that we do, will be blessed. Verse 4, blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. The fruit of your body is your children, and they will be blessed. And the fruit of thy ground, your crops, will be blessed. Your food, your intake, your proper diet. And the fruit of thy cattle, meaning the cattle that you have, will be blessed. And their children will also be blessed too, meaning that they're going to be pushing them out. The increase of thine kind, that's what it means right there. And the flocks of thy sheep. Verse 5. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Everything. Your wallet, your purse, blessed. You can go have anything that you want. Anything that you want. Now, sisters, imagine that. Imagine you have an unlimited credit with the Most High. You can go do whatever you want. Anything that you wanted to. No limits. None. See what we missed out on? Verse 6. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. When you come into your land, you be blessed. You'll see what this means here in a minute. And when you leave your land, you'll be blessed. You'll see what this says here and what this means here in a second. Verse 7. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. Now let's stop for a second. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that even though we did keep the commandments, that we still had enemies? Now, why in the world do you think we had enemies, family? Why do you think we had enemies? Because the Most High said, I chose you, Israel, and because I chose you, and because I love you, and because I made you, you are the apple of my eye. You are my treasure. You are my jewels. Even Hitler knew that. He said, I'm going to take you, and I'm going to put you above everybody else on the planet. Don't you think that is going to cause some haters, some hateration? Absolutely. Verse 7. I'm going to read it again. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. The Most High said, if anybody come against you, I'm going to kill them right in front of your face. Could you imagine if we had that protection right now? That's why there's so many police shootings. That's why these white boys and these white girls can just go ahead and shoot us and kill us down and do all these things. I said kill us down. That makes sense. Kill us down. And not a damn thing happened to them. Or a slap on the wrist. The Most High said if anybody rose up against you, he will kill them in front of your face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. So you are going to have these enemies that come up against you. But I am going to make sure that they scatter from you. You'll see what that means here in a second too. The Lord shall command the blessings upon thee in thy storehouses and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. That is in Jerusalem. That is in Israel. That is our land. And the Most High said, even in your storehouses, anything that you touch, anything that you do, he's going to bless it. Anything. So, kings and queens, princes and princesses, can you imagine if the Most High was to go ahead and bless your occupation? Let's just say, for instance, right? Let's just say this. For all of you fashionistas out there, in the kingdom, if we would have kept this commandments, right? Can you imagine becoming a millionaire or a billionaire overnight, selling to the nations? Imagine that. We're not buying from them buying from us. We owning the large corporations. But what happened? We broke the commandments. And the Most High took it away. And it's our fault because we broke the commandments. It's real. It's real. All right. Next, verse 9. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself. He said, you belong to me. You are my people. I chose you. And you are holy, and holy means to be separated from everybody else. So does that really sound like equality, family? No, that does not sound like equality. It does not sound like equality. It doesn't sound like equality at all. The Most High is racist. He's very racist. Very. He said, I chose you, and I'm going to put you above everybody. But yet Christianity has this all-inclusive utopia. Everybody can get in. Everybody's equal, when the damn Constitution that these Edomites went ahead and doctored up that said that black people are only 3/4 of a human being, or whatever the hell it is. Now you see why they did that? They took that personal. They know these scriptures. They know exactly what it is. Well, if their God said that we ain't equal to them, then hell, they ain't equal to us. They know these scriptures. All right. Verse 9. Read it again. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. He said, all y'all got to do is keep my commandments. That's all you have to do. But we didn't do it. We did not do it. And I say we because us today are the very same ones all the way back then. Remember, regeneration. We did not keep it. Verse 10. Remember what I told you to remember. Watch this. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. The whole earth will be afraid of you, afraid of our people. But now it's the other way around. We can't even get in our cars and drive without us looking over our shoulders to see whether or not where the cops are. Even if a cop car pull up next to us, you know it. You know it. We can't even go into certain neighborhoods without having to worry if we're going to get shot down by a white homeowner, or a Chinese or Japanese homeowner, or an Arab homeowner. Oh, you know it's true. If we only would have kept the commandments. Next, verse 11. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods. And the Lord shall, one more, I gotta read that again. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. So that means everything. He reiterated what he said earlier. All these great things were going to be given to us, and it was going to pass down generation to generation to generation. But our forefathers and foremothers did not keep the commandments. Let's continue. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Do you understand that? Do you see how accurate this Bible truly is? We have to be the ones to go out and get loans from Esau. We have to go out and get loans from the Jewish bank owners. All we have to do is keep the commandments, and that would have been flipped around. It would have been us doing it to them. Do y'all understand that? Do you see how real the Bible is? Do you see its accuracy? Its pinpoint accuracy. Do you see it? But yet, the idiot Christian pastor, the idiot Christian altogether, we are all one. We are all family. They even call them brothers and sisters. When the Bible said that the Israelites, his chosen people, were supposed to be above everybody. That's not racism, that's scripture. Verse 13, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. Oh, there's so many different damn gospel songs about this, which is so ridiculous, because they have no idea what the hell it's talking about. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only. I gotta take a drink on that one. Thou shalt be above only. Only, meaning there's only one thing that you can do, and that's be above. That's it. You hear, them here. You hear, them here. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them. Verse 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I commanded thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. Do you see how specific the Bible was? Do you see how specific this is? It said, don't go after the other gods. Don't go after Islam. Don't go after Harsh Krishna. Don't go after Christianity. Don't go after yoga or any of those other Indian ones. Don't go after any of those things. You ought to serve me. Don't go after yourself. And that's the one that we're guilty of. The religion of me. And the religion of me took us into many different directions. Many. And now we suffer the curses. When all we had to do was keep the commandments. Now, for one of those major curses, what we're going to do now, I'm going to read a document here. The name of this document is called Horrific Punishment of Slaves in Colonial America. So we're going to be talking about Judah here tonight. Oh yeah, the top tribe. We're going to be talking about Judah and the conditions that Judah went through. So what I want to do now, I want to go down to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. I want to go here because this is very vital to what we are getting ready to discuss. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, I always want to make sure that I clarify this. You have the person that does not have the understanding of the scriptures. They say, you see, he's going back into Egypt. What does Egypt mean? Egypt is synonymous with slavery. Let's get it. I want you to go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. It means slavery. Egypt means slavery. Now let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Now I'm going to read it again now that you know what slavery is. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt slavery again with ships. What are those ships? Those are the slave ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, by the way that I'm telling you is going to happen, thou shalt see it no more again. Not see what? What did we read about earlier? What land was the Most High going to give us? all of Israel. All of Israel. All that land there. All that landmass. Israel is not what it is on the map today. No. Israel was vast. And the Most High said, my Israelites, if y'all keep my commandments, I'm going to give not only the world, because I made the world for your sake, but right there, that special place, Israel. But now, he said, I'm not giving you anything. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women, and no man shall buy you. Nobody is going to save you. So we have to get into that. So that now we're going to go ahead and jump into this next part. We're going to read this document. Now, as I'm reading the document, I'm also going to be bringing out scriptures as well. Okay? Why? Why? Because you are going to see just how the Bible lines up with slavery perfectly, and that this can only be our people because no one else has suffered what we suffered. As a matter of fact, before we go there, I want you to go to Daniel chapter 9. I'm going to show you. That's exactly what it says. Go to Daniel chapter 9 and go down to verse 11, please. Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Watch this. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law. All of Israel has broken my law, even by departing that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Verse 12, and he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. You are about to find out what that great evil is. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. Under this whole planet, under this entire planet, nothing has happened to any other nation that has happened to Israel. Do you see that? Plain and simple. That means that those Ashkenazis, this did not happen to them. They never served slavery. Them white boys and white girls that never served slavery. No other nation has served slavery because we were always the damn slaves when we broke the commandments. Now that we got that out the way, I want you to go now. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to start reading this here to you. You're going to see. One more time. Horrific punishment of slaves in colonial America. Slavery refers to a condition in which individuals are owned by others who control the general conditions of their lives, including where they live, what they eat, their work, their movements, etc. Slave trade is one of the social phenomena in history that is associated with the cruelest and dehumanizing treatments. Dehumanizing. Cruel and dehumanizing treatments. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to get very worked up when I read this, because this bothers me to my soul. It really does. Since the enslaved people are nothing less than properties in the custody of their masters, they are treated in the most bizarre manners that have no human consideration attached. I'm going to read that first part one more time. Slavery refers to a condition in which individuals are owned by others who control the general conditions of their lives, including where they live, what they eat, their work, movements, etc. Is that in the Bible, family? Is that a part of the curses? I want you now to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Go down to verse 48, please, and let's see if that matches what this document has said. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That's exactly what that said. That's exactly what the document said. Do you see how the Bible lines up with our lives? Do you see how it is 100% parallel to everything that the Bible says? And serving in slavery. Do you see it? Do you see it? It is undeniable. It is absolutely undeniable. Let's continue. I'm gonna read that next part. Since the enslaved people are nothing less than properties in the custody of their masters, they are treated in the most bizarre manners that have no human consideration attached. Now, go to verse 49. Same book, Deuteronomy 28:49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Now, we all know that the eagle represents Esau. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall have not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. No regard, no regard, no human regard at all. Just like this said. So now to get the precept to that, I want you to go to the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 15. We just brought this out not that long ago, if you remember. Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 15. I'm going to show you. For he hath brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation. And you're going to see tonight that damn shameless. And of a strange language, who neither reference old man nor pitied child. And you're going to see exactly what that's all about. You are going to see just how accurate this Bible is. Watch this. Prepare yourself for this one. The atrocities of these slaves took place both in the North and South and across the Americas, but without question, the degree of punishment differed in the South. Now, that's very important right there, because a lot of people think that there was no slavery in the North, and that is a lie. That is an absolute lie. Wall Street, which is located in New York, Wall Street was one of the biggest slave auction sites in the world at that time. Listen to this. Louisianian slave owner, Madame Laurie, now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do an entire lesson on her by herself, was one of the most infamous slave owners in state and ultimately the region. The conditions she subjected her enslaved were so heinous and despicable that even other slave owners were appalled. Journalists at the time couldn't even bring themselves to describe the awful things she did. Instead, the New Orleans Bee wrote, quote, "We would shrink from the task of detailing the painful circumstances connected therewith, were it not that a sense of duty renders it indispensable to do so," end quote. So this woman, this white Edomite, she was so heinous and so despicable. This woman was so wicked that other slave owners would cringe at the things that this woman would do. Now, mind you, this is a woman doing this now. Oh, I'll get into that in a second. After Laurie's home caught fire one day, a crowd to fight the flames, but soon discovered something so gruesome they couldn't believe their eyes. Quote, 7 slaves more or less, horribly mutilated, were seen suspended by the neck, with their limbs apparently stretched and torn from one extremity to the other. Now, I gotta get a drink. Family, this is the woman that did this. And I emphasize that because our people love, so very love, to give that white woman a pass. Oh, the white woman wasn't at all involved in slavery like how they say. No, that white woman was the cheerleaders. Not only cheerleaders, but they also involved themselves with the torture of our people. They did it themselves. A nation of fierce countenance is what the Bible said. That includes male and female and children as well. The things that they would do. This woman mutilated her slaves. I'm not sure if you understand what the term mutilated means. It means for some things, they would probably take the insides out, pop the eyes out, rip their noses off. Imagine what they did inside of the woman. Oh, let me tell you. Oh, we're going to get so deep into this. I told you, y'all better brace yourselves. You better brace yourselves for this lesson, I'm telling you. The next portion, brutal whippings. The main method used to control the behavior of slaves was the threat of whipping, which tore the flesh from their backs, arms, and legs. Now, whenever we see a whipping, whatever you want to call it, on television, whenever Esau puts forth their production, they don't do it any justice. I'm not sure if you've ever seen how a bullwhip works, but when it hits the flesh, it takes chunks out of your flesh. Not just the lash on the back, it slices you open, and if you get a good enough crack, that it'll rip it right out of your body, all the way to the muscle. This method was preferred both in the North and South. The whippings and beatings were usually so horrific and as bad as you could ever imagine. The number of lashes, which were always many, depended on the seriousness of the offense. Slaves were whipped daily. Slaves were whipped daily. This was an everyday occurrence. It was not necessarily because they committed a serious offense. Rather, beatings, whippings, and other torture acts, you're going to see what this is, and other torture acts were a form of mind and body control. It was a form of control. They did it to scare the other slaves. Wind them down, beat them down. A way to reassert the dominance of their masters and also demoralize the slaves, keeping them bent on their labor. No condition makes an exception for any slave. The young, old, male, females. I'm going to read that again. The young, old, male, females, look here, including pregnant women and mentally and physically challenged, were lashed whenever the occasion called for such. The mentally disabled, the young, the old, they were whipping babies. Do you understand what I'm saying here, family? They were whipping babies. The elderly. Imagine you're a nana. Imagine you're papa, whatever y'all call mother, grandmother, whatever, grandfather, whatever it is. Imagine their old, frail, failing bodies being whipped and tore open. Imagine them holding up a baby. And you know how they were holding the babies up. by the neck with a noose and whipping that baby. Imagine it. Imagine it. These animals, these wicked, vile people that the Most High sent to get against us because we did not keep his commandments. It doesn't get any more real than this. This is history. This actually happened. This is not some made up folklore, mythical damn story. This actually happened. And the Bible lines up exactly with what it says. All I'm doing is reading the Bible and putting it right here in everyday life, in our history, in what actually happened. I'm reading the Bible, family. I'm reading the Bible. This is real. Regardless, if you believe it or not, doesn't matter. This is real. Watch this. And let me tell you something. We're just getting started. In the case of pregnancy, a hole might be dug for the pregnant woman to rest her belly while being whipped. Whipping grew so common during slavery. I want you to really think about the savagery behind that. I really want you to ponder. I want you to use your intellect. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think how evil of a bastard you have to be to dig a hole for one of our women to put her stomach in so that her back and legs and arms could be whipped. Think about that. And Christianity want to call them our brothers. Think about that. Let it sit. And do you know why they chose to dig a hole? Think about why did they do that? To protect their investment. Because the babies were stock. That's what the stock market is all about. For those of you that did not know, that's what the stock market is all about. The stock market was created for slavery. Every time you hear that damn bell ring, ding, 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 in New York, that's what that's about. Nigga sold. Watch this part. The name of this one here is called slave collars. The South loved to use torture instruments. I'm going to read that again just in case you didn't get it. The South loved to use torture instruments, and they came in many shapes and forms. They were used to punish slaves by subjecting them to very uncomfortable and brutal conditions. Some of them were worn, whereas some were constructed and the slave confined to a particular killer fixed position by the instrument. A killer fixed position by the instrument. When worn, the slave is forced to continue his/her daily task with the discomforting device and is also expected to work at the same pace and productivity level as when freed. So if you're not understanding what I'm reading, they will put these horrible torture contraptions on our family members and expect them to work as normal. When worn, the slave is forced to continue his/her daily task with the discomforting device and is also expected to work at the same pace and productivity level as when freed. He/she may also be given a task to accomplish which they know will be very difficult to go about with the torturous device intact. Now, of course, I'm going to show you some of these devices. Take a look at this. This is one of the collars that they're talking about. Do you see this collar? With spikes going around it 360. These people are animal savages. Look at this one right here. We'll read about this one here later. The 3-pronged collar. You're going to find out what this one actually does here in a second. Look at this horrible device. Now, this device right here, what they would do, they would make a slave put both of their thumbs in this. You slide the thumb in there and twist it, and they would twist it so tight it would break their bones. And these are one of the contraptions that they had to use when they were working. These slaves were in so much pain, and they had to work through the pain. Look at this one. This one is one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my life. Do you know what this is? This is a shoe, a metal shoe that they would clamp onto our family members. And you see this ball hanging right here? They would heat it up. They would heat up this iron shoe and make them wear this. These horrible, disgusting, filthy, wicked bastards. And yet they call these people, the Christians, they call these people our brothers and sisters. Look at this one. Do you see this? This is a mask that they were strapped to their face, an iron mask. And do you see what these 2 prongs here are for? They would twist it and gouge it into their eyes. Not enough to reach the brain, but just enough so that they have sight in one eye and make them continue their work as they are deriving in pain and bleeding. You got to understand their blood is pouring from these things here. Look at this one. Kings, princes, what do you think this is for? What do you think this is for? They would scoop your nuts into this. Clamp them together. And do you see this large screw? Look, pay attention to at the bottom of this bolt. Do you see that? They would take that and twist it until it reached your gooch. That's the area between the balls and the butthole. And they would take it and screw it. Screw it into you while your nuts are clamped in it. This is what the Most High allowed to happen to us. So if you think for 1 second that he is playing games with us when he told us to keep the commandments, you are a fool if you think otherwise. So the Most High allowed all of that to happen to our people for not keeping the commandments. Can you imagine what's coming in the end? Can you imagine the pain, torture, and destruction that is coming in the end? I'm telling y'all, man, for those of you who just don't get it, you still playing around, you are still questioning things, you are still questioning your fringes, you are still questioning smoking weed and all these different things running around from this hole to the next. If you think he's playing, you are a fool. Whoo, man. Let's continue. A black slave once told how he was tortured in this manner with his neck snugly encased by an iron band, slave collar, and instrument of such a peculiar shape so as to render his labor difficult to accomplish. That's the second one that I showed you. The Negro stated that he wore it for 2 good months. 2 months, watch. The form of the instrument prevented him from lying down, taking a rest, or sleeping. Natural fatigue would soon set in, causing delusions and insomnia and mental sickness, rendering him burdensome for the day. It consisted of a heavy iron ring fitting closely around the neck, from which extended 3 prongs, each 2 feet in length, with a ring on the end. Horrible. So if you can't really vision this, if you can't put this together, our brothers and sisters couldn't even lay down because those prongs were sticking out. So they couldn't rest. It was so uncomfortable. They're trying to lay here. They couldn't lay down. So they had to stand the whole time. Even if they got on their knees and tried to rest up, they couldn't because it was preventing them from laying down. And what did it cause? It caused them delusions, to lose their mind, to see things, to hallucinate. They were going through all these things. I'm telling you, when it comes to Esau, these people are treacherous. They are evil as hell. I'm telling you, this is real. This is 100% real. This is not made up. These are the things that they've done. And guess what? I haven't even gotten started yet. Now to the next part. Cruel and unusual punishment in the South. Many executions in the South were done by hanging. If the whites wanted to make it more grisly, they would hang a person alive with a hook dug in one of his lungs. Do you see how evil these damn people are? They would take our family members and they would hang them. They would take a hook and pierce it through their damn lungs, and guess they couldn't breathe. Do you know how bad it is when we hit our back or we hit this side of our body? Can you imagine them taking a hook and digging it through your damn lungs? They may also decide to hang the slave upside down, all the blood rushing to his head. Moreover, in what the slave master call very serious offenses, which they feel exceeded all other forms of punishment, the slave had to be dispensed, and usually in a horrifically painful and inhumane way. They burn the slaves alive. They burn the slaves alive. They burn the slaves alive. Usually bound on a stake. This is one of the cruelest ways they would take the lives of these slaves, and it's heart-wrenching. Murder in the South. Pay attention. Sexual assault was rampant in the North and South. A certain group of enslaved women were labeled Jezebels by their owners. So, while I get a drink, think about why they call them Jezebels. Why? Why do they call them Jezebels? Because they read our Bible. Because they know who we are. These women were alleged to be more promiscuous than their counterparts, and were often subjected to sexual abuse several times throughout the day. While white men forced these Jezzies, they gave them a name, they gave them a nickname, they called them Jezzies. While white men forced these Jezzies to have sex with them, they claim that it was the enslaved woman's fault for being so loose. They blamed you, sisters, queens, princesses. I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me. They blamed you for it. They blamed you. They said that you were loose. They said you were loose. They said you wanted it. They said you begged for it. That's what they said about you. And yet, y'all want to keep wearing the things that you wear. You want to wear them tight pants. You want to wear them scantily clad dresses? You want to put blonde in your damn hair? After the things that they've said about you and the things that they've done to you, you want to keep doing it? You want to keep going against the Most High? You're going to catch it. Watch this. As if they asked for this attention. They said you wanted it. They said you asked for it. That's why I said what I just said right before I read that. They said you asked for it. You wanted it. Although female slaves are the ones that suffer the most, sometimes males are also subjected to sexual abuse by promiscuous mistresses or forced to have sex with fellow slaves to produce children who work for their masters. Slaves are raped without having anyone to report to. Instead, the white slave owners expect them. Listen to this. The white slave owners expect them to be grateful for having sex with them, proudly saying that they are doing them a favor. I'm going to read that again. The white slave owners expect them to be grateful for having sex with them. They said that you were grateful for having sex with them, saying that they are doing you a favor. Woo! So now, here you have the white woman. Remember, I said earlier that so many of you brothers love giving that white woman a pass. That white woman used to go out into the slave quarters and go grab the brothers and have the brother have sex with her. Now, for the simple-minded, for the pervert, for the lustful, you're sitting there thinking, well, okay, well, he just got us some ass. Well, lucky him. No. Let me explain this here a little bit. So what would happen? These people were diseased. Esau was diseased. Just ask our Native American brothers and sisters. They were diseased. Gonorrhea, syphilis, all these different types of STDs that they had. So they will go out there and get the brother, make the brother run up in them, give him a disease. A lot of our brothers were married on those plantations. So they took the disease and it spread back to their wife. The child comes out diseased. Do you think slaves had medical care? Do you think they was able to go get a shot? Do you think that they cared that the tip of their penis was burning every time they peed? Every time they ejaculated? Or any time at all? No. No. These are not the so-called STDs today. No. These were things that were untreated. This is before penicillin and all the things that they have today. These diseases will kill you. Take you out. Not only that, but also the sodomites that would rape the brothers. You see, a lot of slavery when it comes to the sexual abuse is always geared towards the women. It happened to the brothers too. That's why I hate that whole mandingo thing. I can't stand it. Don't joke to me about that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't. I'm telling you, this was horrific. This was absolutely horrific. And you can only imagine their hygiene. Let's continue. Many times, the women slaves would become impregnated, as would the white mistresses that forced the black men to have sex with them. An impregnated female slave would in no way exempt them from their normal daily routines and punishments as slaves. Neither will their masters take ownership or responsibility of the child when born. That's on both counts. That's the white woman that was impregnated by the slave man and the slave woman that was impregnated by the white man. Those children would be slaves. Those children would be slaves. Do you remember when we had the Meghan Markle lesson? So many of you reached out to me. You were so pissed off about that. So pissed off. It came right back right here. That's why they didn't want that little baby. Fools. Idiots. Neither will their masters take ownership or responsibility of the child when born. Instead, they children only increase the number of slaves and hands to work in the field, which is to the advantage of the slave masters. Also, the mistresses transfer their anger. Listen to this. Also, the mistresses transfer their anger and aggression for their husband's infidelity to the abused slave woman by beating and maltreating them. So if you don't understand what that meant, it meant, remember, the white men used to take our sisters and take them in the house and rape them. They were raping in the house, and that white woman was sitting there listening to that. And of course, the white woman would get pissed at the woman and blame her and go do horrible things to the woman. This is history. I'm reading history. This is all real. This is not folklore. This is exactly what the Most High said when he said he is going to bring a nation of fierce countenance. A shameless nation, he said. Shameless. Some of them are forced into marriages without being enslaved to the normal position of a wife. Rather, in order for her husband to avoid witnessing when they are punished or tortured for one offense or another, he'll send her to a distant plantation where she'll continue her slavery practices. So after all that, they'll take them and split them up. Split up the families. Split up the families, just like the Bible said. Go back and read the curses. That's what it said. That's what it said. That's what it said. Let me tell you, sisters, something. I'm going to tell y'all this. Those white women are so jealous of you. All the other nations are so jealous of you. And do you know why? They want to be you. There are so many rich plastic surgeons right now because of you. They get lip enhancements, butt enhancements, breast augmentation to look like you. You're beautiful, voluptuous, curvaceous, big lip selves. You beautiful, beautiful women, you. Beautiful, beautiful. And yet you disgrace yourself by trying to look like them. That's why I don't understand the blonde in the hair. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you want to brighten your skin and do all those different things and make your lips look smaller and all that stupidity when they spend billions per year to look like you. Do you understand the level of hate that they saw when they saw y'all coming off them ships? You get it? Do you understand? Do you, kings and princes, do you understand the level of jealousy when they brought you off the ships? Let me tell you something right now. This is real. I'm not even trying to joke about this. When they brought them brothers off them ships, first of all, everybody came off the ships naked. Everybody. The hatred started right then and there. Now, when them white men saw them brothers coming off them damn ships, when the women saw them brothers coming off them ships, they couldn't believe something that damn big was real. And that's why them white men, when they would string us up and hang us, they would cut our penises off. Jealousy. But that's just how the Most High built us. But it was jealousy. All of the horrible, horrific things. You don't think for 1 second that that white man heard his woman screaming when that brother was in there doing what he was doing to her? Why do you think they are just so frivolous when it comes to shooting us down in the streets? Why? Why do you think they deny us jobs and all that so much? Why? And again, everybody will sit there and look at me and be like, oh, this man is racist. No, this man is speaking history. I didn't do any of this. You did it. For every person out there that want to point your finger at me for being racist, take a look at your own history. But for my people here, it's our fault. You know why? Because we broke the commandments then and we continue to break it today. We continue and we won't stop. We won't stop. We have to. Because the Most High said he took his Israelites, the ones that he chose for himself, and said, I'm going to put y'all above all nations. All nations. What more can I say? I didn't say it. The Bible said it. And for any person that has a problem with that, that's your problem. Nobody else's. The Most High made it this way, and he made it that way for a reason. I'm not God. I don't know why. All I know is that I am so thankful and so blessed to be an Israelite. Now, the Christian church is never going to tell you that. The Christian church will never, ever, ever bring this out because they're not allowed to. The Christian church, the Christian pastors, that includes Geno Jennings, whatever hell his name is, that includes T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, your local Christian pastor, whoever it may be. It includes every last one of them because they go to the seminaries, they get their little documents, they get their little certificates or whatever it is, and they are now pulpit pimps. They continue the practice of the house nigger. Yes, they do. Because Christianity is the one that incited slavery. Oh, yeah. Christianity comes from the white man. Christianity comes from Esau. Christianity is the practice of the Edomites that they fed down and continued through slavery. Going right back to the pharaohs of old with the slavery. All they do is practice Egyptology. That's why I don't understand when you stupid ass niggas get out there and call yourselves Egyptians. I don't get it. You idiots. You sit there and serve a false god that enslaved your people, tortured them, these wicked individuals, and you want to take after them, you damn devils. Because you have no knowledge of who you are. When the Bible lines up with everything, every last thing, everything. Did you get it? But yet, us Israelites, we don't know what we're talking about. You niggas are racist. No, we're not. We're educated in the scriptures. And when we try to bring it out, we get the most resistance from our people. All we tell you to do, or at least me, I'll speak for myself. All I tell you to do is keep the commandments. I do everything in my power to enrich and empower our people and bring back to remembrance who we are. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what you are supposed to do. But yet, so many of you, mouths still closed, wait until Friday to get into the scriptures, won't read, won't teach anyone everything. And I'm not talking about everybody, but many of you. Many of you. Family, this is something so easy. And when we start keeping the commandments again, the Most High said, I will turn my face back to you. I will turn my face back to you, and I will defend you and put you back where you belong. That's what the scriptures say. That's the promise. And if we want that, it's all up to us. Israel, I'm so glad that we was able to go over this history here today. For many of you that always have a problem with me when you say, oh, I'm not only stating in the scriptures, too bad, shut up and go away. I'm making sure that our family understand exactly who they are, and not just who they are, but what they are and how great they truly are. And if you got a problem with that, then die. Just die. Just die. Sorry. I told you I'm not being apologetic about anything I say tonight. Yeah, I said it. You are a hindrance to our people. You are disgusting. You are the scum of the earth for anyone that goes against this. This is truth. This is the Bible. This is our history, the history that was taken from us. And you won't have a problem when we bring it back. Shame on you, idiot. But let me tell you something. After what you learned here tonight, family, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do to help rectify this? What are you going to do? You going to change your lives? That's how you change it, by changing your lives. You want to change our situation? Change your lives by keeping the commandments. That's what you do. It means get in the scriptures and read and see the things that we can and cannot do. It's that simple. It's that simple. That's what we have to do. And as many of you already know, if you have any questions, all you got to do is reach out to me, whether it be email at MikeMalissChannel@gmail.com, or you can reach me on Instagram under Mike Maliss. As all of you know, I will respond to you, okay? I will respond. And family, I do this here because I love you. I will always love you. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait until we are put back in power. And with that being said, Israel, I love you. I'm out.